Hey guys, welcome to episode number 10, where Dazza and I will be chatting about the 2-1 win over Ajax. It's been a few days. There's been some personal issues that we've all sort of solved now. So we're back into it. We had to watch the highlights because the game was a few days ago. But my thoughts are clear, Daz. My thoughts are still clear. I've been copying a lot of slack, Dazza. I don't know if you saw it
Have you?
on
I
a
missed
little
that.
bit, yeah. A few people have raised concerns about my over negativity and that I shouldn't be reacting like I have been towards the club. I'm like, that's surprising because even Klopp is saying things that he doesn't usually say about the negativity of the matches. I think I was quite blue after the game against Napoli.
And
Um,
rightly so. And I'll jump to your defense here, and I know it's come from a point of passion. Like you're not talking and going, oh, yeah. Hey, you're just saying it because you're frustrated, and you
well,
you
here's the
know we're
thing, right?
better, right? It's not coming to. That's the thing. People go, oh, don't be like we. You are positive. You're just pointing out what needs to be fixed, and there's nothing. I mean, you can't take again, and I'll jump to your defense on this one.
Thanks, mate.
Um, you can't be positive about just getting smashed 4-1 by Napoli. You can't be positive about nearly losing to Everton. You can't be positive about what we've had about the start of the season. We can hope and we still have the positive in there, but we're talking about the issues at present,
Correct.
right? And we are, yeah, and we do have positive points to prove. But anyone who says, "Oh, you get too negative," obviously, some people are probably getting a
I call them the Liverpool lemmings, right? Where it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter. We could get smashed 7-2 against Aston Villa. It doesn't matter. They're just always these robotic, positive people. Now, that's fine, right? If you want to be like that, there's no criticism on my part. If you want to be the lemming, but not like you said, don't mistake it. If Liverpool ended up in the sixth tier of English football,
yeah.
we're still going to watch it, aren't we, Daz? We're still going to
100%.
watch them. If they're in
Still going to watch
conference
them
two,
regardless, and that's the thing. So
so
and
anyway, I just wanted to say that, look, I'm not going to change the way I am. If people don't like it, they don't like it. I can't help it. And it comes from a good place because now the bar has been set so high. I and that's what I want to make sure, as much as I can do as a fan, that we don't fall into complacency. And if it does nothing, well, then it does nothing. But it is what it is, and
at
I,
the end,
I
at,
like to be
yeah,
authentic.
at the end
So
of the
that's my
day, that's right. We are authentic. We're diehard Liverpool fans, and if some people think that you or I are being a little bit too negative, well, that's their opinion,
me.
and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Everyone,
You.
everyone loves you, does it? It's all me that I get to hate.
No, I have some pretty rife stuff to say at times, but no, man, at the end of the day, I know, and a lot of other people also know that and a lot of people agreeing with what you're saying too, Andy. So it's not as if you're getting a few people that go, "Oh, you're booing." No, you can't. Like, I'll jump to your defense just due to the fact that can you how can you be positive about the last, like, before the Ajax game, like that's when, because how can you be positive? I mean, you can hope and you go, "Oh, look, let's hope to God it's getting better," but God, try and be positive, but you're saying, but you're picking it out for what it is. And if people can't see that and they want to look, it's great. Be positive, like you said. You know, no criticism there whatsoever. But there's a reality, and the reality was there's nothing real positive that was to be taken from getting smashed 4-1 by Napoli. There
And
wasn't
like I
anything
said,
positive to be
there's a
taken
way
from
to.
Evan. Yeah,
And look, there's a way to. I think what people are saying is, "Oh, we just lost." I get it. Like if I was complaining about losing, well, that would be a bit stupid. That would be silly. That would be immature.
correct. Yeah.
That's not going to reflect someone that's been watching Liverpool for 26 years. I get that, but there's a way to lose this. And
Hmm.
against Napoli, I'll say it again. It's going to annoy people. It looked like down tools from certain players, and
It
that cannot be accepted. It just
there's
cannot
again
be accepted.
anyone, and again, I'm gonna like, this might be controversial. Anyone who thinks that could stay positive after that Napoli game, man, you've got you need to get yourself in check, because there was nothing positive about that game you could take from that. Yes, every
No,
team has their day, but we haven't had our day since the beginning of the season, really. I
no,
mean, not
correct.
maybe 9-0 against Bournemouth, but at the end of the day, that was a one-off. Like, and then the following week we struggle, So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So, what's your thoughts on the Ajax game?
Yeah, like talk about being positive and a change of fortunes. Really good game. It was good to see us register. Like obviously the finishing could have been a bit better, but it was good to see us create quite a lot, which is something we haven't been doing over the past few weeks since the Bournemouth game. It's funny, we always hinge on that Bournemouth game because
Yeah.
that was like it was a part of the season so far that was obviously a completely different performance than everything else. It was great to see. Yeah, like Thiago was back on the lineup, and what a masterclass. Geez, that guy he just makes
Top
football.
performance.
Oh, he just makes football look like it's an artwork. He's
It's
so
the
artistic.
Spanish. It's the Spanish
Oh,
flair,
it's
man.
so
It's
it's
he
attractive.
dances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, and it
Yeah.
just the way he moves the ball and the way he cuts in. I'm just thinking, I reckon I could just watch Thiago play all day. Love him,
Yeah.
and that was just when he's in the squad and he's playing well, man. That he controls that game, doesn't he? He controls the
Yeah.
ball. Um, but look, it was good to see us register, like actually create stuff. Put it that way.
Mhm.
And Ajax's keeper had a blinder. He put off some real key saves. Our finishing probably could have been a lot better, but it was just nice to see that we had a game where we registered something like 20 plus shots on goal, which is something we haven't done all year, apart from the Bournemouth game. I can't be certain. I don't even think we registered that many shots on target at Bournemouth. Maybe, who knows? Um, but yeah, it was just great to see the creativity back. It looked like we were actually going to run away with the game. It was disappointing to see us go 1-1, considering we were in heavy control of that game. I thought Diego Jota had a really good game up front too. He
Mhm.
was just
Mhm.
linking Diaz and Salah really well, and that's obviously what led to Salah's goal. Was
Mhm.
Diaz, Jota, and Salah. All three of them were involved in that link-up play for that goal.
Mhm.
But look, I got more points as we go. But that was from my overall. That was such a better. It was such a better performance. I thought. Couple of key issues, like again, Trent had a better game. Well, I know you're going to talk about Trent soon. Trent had a better game. His passing was a bit better. His tackling was a bit better. He did again. There was an issue there where again, it could come down to the tactics that Klopp's playing. He does play pretty high up, and maybe Klopp's idea is that he's sacrificing that right flank for him to be in a more of attacking position. But there was a time there where Ajax could have gone 2-1 up, and it just happened on Trent's flank again. I think he misplaced a pass, and the Ajax attacker was free. He's seen him there, and I'm like, man, this is dangerous. Get back. And then he noticed it a bit too late, and he just got there, and the cross came in. He had a shot, and it just went wide. And I'm like, yeah, that's what worries me. Whether it's a tactical thing from Klopp or Trent's just not getting back, I'm not too sure. But anyway, on to you, Andy.
The maestro makes a huge impact, right?
Mm.
And the maestro for me is Tiago, right?
Yeah, man.
Just a little. It's just an orchestra, mate. It's just like just perfect, right?
Mm.
I actually thought he would never be the Klopp type midfielder though, because of the pressing. He's more of an on the ball player, more than a pressing off the ball. And I think when you play the way we do, like three in midfield instead of the traditional four, you obviously need all three players to be higher of the highest quality presses of the ball, especially when the Gagan pressing and all that. But I think he's become leaps and bounds too. Thiago is off the ball. I think Klopp has made him better off the ball, so it looks far better when he gets it back. I mean, him stealing the ball from other players and then controlling not only getting the ball and controlling it, but create like he's that type of plays like that Perlo and that Zidane, where they just seem to always create space no matter where they
Mm.
are, and people can easily overlook that when they're watching these top end quality players. For me, I've always judged a quality player in midfield by where they are off the ball, like how much
Yeah.
space do they have, right? That to me is always a sign
Such a
of them.
crucial part of their game because if you're off the ball's great, you're going to get into positions where you can shine. So
And then when he gets it, he completely dictates it, and that was obviously head and shoulders chalk and cheese against Napoli. Obviously, I think the whole mindset of the team. You knew Klopp after that press conference he did after the match against Napoli, where he said we have to reinvent ourselves. Where he said things that he doesn't traditionally say, because as much as I love Klopp, he can be a little bit stubborn, and it annoys the crap out of me. And I think he says things. He toes the party line. He protects plays, which is fantastic. He protects the club and the owners, and it annoys the crap out of me. But he says some things, and I know that I'm sure he knows things that he's not saying, obviously. He's obviously super intelligent, but I think after that game, he just, there was nowhere to hide. And even he said there was no rhythm. What rhythm? When the press asked him about, the Wolves have been cancelled, is that going to impact your rhythm? He said, what rhythm? That rhythm against Napoli. That rhythm
he goes,
against
that'd be a
Napoli.
good thing. Yeah, that was funny. I thought that was really good. Yeah.
Obviously, if he says what he said publicly after that Napoli game, he obviously gave them a scolding that they needed. And I think, because I think a lot of our players, they know that who's behind them to take their position. Who's going to take Van Dijk's position? Who's taken Alisson's position? Who's taken Trent's position? And in because you've been in my defense, I thought Simicast had an absolute blinder of a game.
He did, didn't he? He had a great game. See, I love the guy. I love Simicast, and I know like you've been critical of him since he come on, and but I can see the points you're saying about him in previous games. I mean, when Robbo came on for him in the Everton game, Robbo changed that game down that flank, and that was way more threatening. Where Simicast, wasn't, but in that game he had a great game.
Simicast seems
your Greek, the Greek Scouser, mate. That's who he is. That's what they call him.
The Greek Scouse. Well, the thing is, man, he plays hard. Like whenever I think about him, I think that game, I think it was his best game in a Liverpool shirt for me since he's come. Yeah. I didn't see him do anything wrong. I think his positioning. I think he did his first responsibilities to defend as a left back, and I think he did that well. Obviously, he doesn't have the prowess of going forward as Robbo, but Robbo hasn't been playing good, and Robbo needs to kick up the butt as well.
He's injured now, Robbo. Apparently, he's out for a few weeks. So this is going to be Simicast's chance to shine. I'm not sure. I think Robbo's got a knee injury or something. If I'll just quickly bring it up. I'm pretty sure he's out for a few weeks, Andy Robbo.
I think he is. Yeah. And I thought Matip played really well, and I think the intensity was the intensity was definitely there and back. Now, for me, the criticism that I have about Trent, despite the goal, because what I would say about the goal, Daz, is he's being told to push that far forward. Everyone knows he struggles with those long balls in behind, right? And the tactics is Klopp and co is still telling him to press forward. So it's got to come to a point where you can't always blame him for those situations, because the instructions.
That's what I was saying, and that's what I've noticed. I noticed a couple of times during that game when, say, we were on the defense and the ball was coming down through, Trent wasn't tracking back, but it wasn't because it didn't look like he wasn't tracking back because he didn't want to. It was like he was being told to stay where he was, because if we picked up the ball in the back three, so Simicast, so obviously it's like we changed to a 3-4-3 backs when Trent plays. It's really, I don't know. It's like as if Trent
Fabinho drops deep.
Yeah, Fabinho drops deep, and then you got obviously Matip, Van Dijk, and Simicast coming back on there, and it's like Trent's got to be that free player on the flank there, ready to kind of feed Salah or feed the balls in from there. So he's got to stay there, ready for the scraps to be picked up and ready to receive the ball on the attack. Mm-hmm. So it's as if Klopp knows is that his best. It's like he's better off kind of sitting forward more, waiting for those scraps to be picked up. Then he will be in a space to receive the ball and create something down that flank. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know. I could be completely wrong and could be speaking completely out of, no idea what I'm talking about, but that's what it looks like to me at times.
Well, that's why I want to challenge you on and cause a bit of controversy with you and put you on the spot, because that's why I think playing Milner at right back and having Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield is better than putting midfield, in my opinion, Milner in midfield and Trent at right back, because I think where we all agree on, everyone in the world agrees about his ability to go forward, for me, as I said to you, I think I said this off air with you, he's putting him in that right midfield position. I mean, for me, it always makes sense. And I think Milner can protect him in that mid. I mean, if you haven't got Thiago and you haven't got Henderson, for me, having and with our shortcomings, Melo's not really playing either. My point is I would rather have Alexander Arnold in midfield and have Milner at right back than vice versa. I just think that Milner, and I think Trent can, because when we play those three in midfield, that our centre midfielders have to go out wide. And I think when Henderson's there, I think he protects Alexander Arnold a lot more.
Yeah.
Right. So when you go, I don't think I agree with some of the feedback that I've gotten from other people that have said to me, and I agree with it. So I'm not taking credibility for this. That Alexander Arnold, I've heard this multiple times. Alexander Arnold is not like he's doing anything different. When it's just in terms of his defending, it's just that I don't think he has the protection of Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
And
So.
teams are just exposing him.
Yeah.
Oh, you got company.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll edit that. We'll edit that bit out. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's live now. Who cares?
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I think that's when I think Trent looks fantastic on the ball going forward and getting Salah in the game. For me, it makes sense to have him in midfield. So I don't think we've played to the 1st of October, which is ages away, Daz. So let's talk about that towards the next segment. But for me, the Ajax game was a show of intensity. Still, there was times where I felt like our heads end up in Disneyland and we're not in the game.
Yep.
And our composure and our mentality and our we just slip. We just fall into that complacent and we lose concentration. We've always had that problem. So, but I think ultimately Thiago was the maestro in that entire game. I think Diego played a fantastic game, as you said, linking up. So there's a lot of competition in that central of our front three.
Yeah,
and I think that's why you're going to get better performances now because there's people knocking on the door from that spot, and that's what I hope we can sign another couple in January, which is very difficult in our weaker areas. So that was my thought. Yeah, my thought.
A couple of sources have come out saying that Klopp could cut Arthur Melo's loan early in January or something. I've seen it a couple of times the last day or so. I don't know why. He hasn't really played much, but apparently, he could be, because obviously that was just a last minute kind of backup plan, really.
Yeah, well, we still got to pay his wages. So why pay his wages? If he's not in the, I mean, like to me, was this a Klopp signing or was this our transfer team just gone? We got to find someone.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we like you said in a previous episode, you'd like to know on where he was on Klopp's top 10. By the look of it, doesn't look like it's Busy's top 10. The way certain things are being portrayed at the moment, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the official Liverpool merchandise cup too. And if you want one, my wife bought it for me for my birthday on Friday from the Liverpool store. So shout out to the Liverpool store in England. Yeah, man, I think, and they didn't ask me to do that, by the way. That was completely free will. It's not a branded piece of content. We're not endorsed by Liverpool Football Club by any shape, any form. But yeah, man, that was my my thoughts on the Ajax game. Better. Not perfect.
Yep.
I still think there's problems. I think teams understand where our weaknesses are, so that reinvention needs to a lot of that reinvention needs to take place off the ball than it does. I mean, going forward, I still think we're deadly. I think every team knows how we go hard on the intensity, the Gegen pressing, winning the ball back high up the field, hitting hard on the counter. I mean, everyone, that's how we play. That's our style. But but teams are cracking us defensively and targeting certain players over and over, and it's just, we just need to shake that off in order to get our season back on track.
Yeah.
So Ajax was a much needed improvement.
It was. It was good to get that game in, obviously, because we didn't play last weekend, and we're not going to be playing this weekend because of the game's postponement due to the Queen's death. So it was good to get a win in during the before, obviously we're not going to play again until our next. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. We
I
don't
believe it's no, it'll be Brighton, and then it'll be
Brighton.
Rangers.
Yeah, it's Brighton at home, then Rangers, then I think we're at City after that.
Yeah, Liverpool, Chelsea got postponed as well,
That's
which was
right. Yeah,
crazy.
so that's been postponed. So that's 2 weeks in a row. Games have been postponed. Which what can you see? Fixture congestion now. Like
I know.
it's going
And
to, you got the World Cup coming up. We're already 2 weeks behind in the Premier League. God, it's gonna be a bit full on at some point.
I mean, this is a whole different podcast.
Look,
Maybe
at least we're not the only people. I mean, at least we're not the only team that's going to get fixture congestion because
yeah.
all rounds, like both rounds, have been postponed. So, yeah,
Salah's not making the World Cup. So hopefully we've got a few players that aren't going to make the World Cup and have a break. I don't think Henderson's going to make the England squad. He might make the England squad, but I think if he does, I don't think he's going to play every game.
Yeah, that's right. We'll do like a podcast just before the World Cup, and we'll touch on our players in the World Cup. And,
Okay, I think we do an England podcast too. Like, I mean Aussie Reds, but we'll do the England games.
Oh, whatever. Or we can just talk about our players abroad, maybe. Our players in the World Cup, regardless of where they're from. I was thinking,
and we'll stream some FIFA games online too.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. During the World Cup, we'll make a bit of a make it a bit more. We'll make it a little bit more fun. Yeah, something different.
Yeah.
Bit of FIFA games and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Ajax game in a nutshell. Yeah, there was some standout performances from Thiago. Matip, of course. He had a great game. Defensively, ball. Moving that ball from that defense, and obviously getting that winning goal as well. It was fantastic. We had it was good win to have when we got, basically our next game's not for another week and a half. So yeah, the pain won't be as long. I mean, it hasn't soothed the pain of obviously the performances so far. We need a few wins on the run now to feel good.
Yeah.
Champions League and Premier League, yeah.
Well, we can discuss in the last 10 minutes some of the hot Liverpool transfer news, which Liverpool Echo, I don't really
crazy.
I don't really trust Liverpool Echo. We've got João Gomez offer, which I don't know much about João Gomez. I do know about Gavi from Barcelona. Looks like he's going to be the next sensation. Obviously, Jude Bellingham. You know what, Darren? Do you think if we cancel Melo, that is obviously because
someone's
lined up in January?
Someone's already lined up in January, and that's this. There's been about 2 or 3 sources so far saying that Arthur Melo's loan is going to cut real short in January, and I honestly think there's someone decent, like whether it's Jude Bellingham or not, I don't know. But there's someone decent coming in January, 100%. Something's happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. So yeah, watch this space.
Sometimes you have to go 1 step back for 2 steps forward, right?
Correct. And again, I don't know much about. Look, I obviously watched the Dortmund and City game, and Jude Bellingham had a great game against City. He was, but I don't really know much about him apart from that, to be honest, because I don't really watch any other leagues in the world. I just like when we link to a player, I do my own research and watch some of the games that they're in and start getting an idea. But yeah, like who knows?
I tell you what, I don't want us to sign. I don't want us to sign another really young kid.
No,
I want us. I mean, okay, Jude Bellingham is young, but he's established.
He's established young fella, Yeah.
Yeah, he's played a lot of games for Dortmund. He's on fire. I just don't want us to go out and like 22, 23, I guess he's fine, but younger than 21. Younger than 22, I would say. Oh, really? I mean, Jude Bellingham, how old is? I mean, he's established.
I think how old is he? He's only 20, or is he younger there? Is he 21 or something? Maybe Jude.
He's born in 2003, so he's 19.
19, I mean, but yeah, he's an established. Again, he plays with like a maturity at that age, which is really rare to see.
Yeah, well, he's a superstar, right? At 19, right? So, I mean, Okay, but I don't want us to get this note. Like, I don't know. I think what we should say is we want an established centre midfielder.
Yeah.
We don't want to have any more of this rebuilding. Obviously, we want someone to come into the team, and that obviously is good enough to be in the three or really push the three. And Bellingham would push the three, right?
Yeah.
The Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson. Henderson, dude, is on his way out. He's got to be. Keita.
He's getting a bit old now. Yeah.
What do we just? I mean, he's obviously not happy. So for me, Keita and Ox, I've always said to you, for me, Milner is definitely gone at the end of the season. Ox probably will go at the end of the season, and Keita. And I'm so happy I said this in one of the first two podcasts that we know that at least Milner and Ox is going to go. I didn't know about Keita. Well, Keita, ever since that podcast, more and more has come out that I've read. He's not even happy anymore. So we're going to have potentially 3 less midfielders at the end of the season.
Yeah.
How are we not planned for this? I have got no idea. As if they know what's happening. They're in the club. You can see it. How the transfer, we didn't catch on to this, dude. I mean, they're obviously a lot smarter people than us, and they saw it, and we saw it, and they didn't. I mean, that's just, to me, that's crazy. And Klopp knows now. But the thing is, January is a terrible time to buy players.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could still get good players, but it's the January transfer window is usually kind of last minute kind of, knee-jerk reaction signings from injuries that you've had so far in the season, and you just need, but anyway, but there's been some classic January signings in the past.
Correct. And actually,
there's been some good ones.
Our January transfers have actually worked out really well.
Our January transfers have been unreal, in the past.
Yeah.
So, I
Van
mean,
Dijk, Allison.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think Fabinho was January. No, he was January. He was June, maybe.
Yeah.
But
cool. Anyway, all good. Well, let's wrap this one up now, mate, and we'll look forward to the next one, eh?
Well, I'm glad you're back because I got a lot of trouble when you let me roam free. When I go rogue, I get in trouble, Daz.
Nah, it's all good, man. Yeah, a good balance.
All right, buddy. Well, guys, stay tuned. We'll let everyone know what we decide to do in upcoming shows from now to the next Liverpool game. This, I think, in Australia time, it is the 2nd of October at midnight. So there's a bit of a gap between from now to then. So Dazza and I will be discussing in the interim how we're going to fill that time. If you guys have any suggestions, please let us know on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, what you would like us to do. We're thinking about streaming on FIFA, some games where we might comment on Liverpool players abroad in the World Cup, but that's further down the line. So any ideas? We probably should bring in some more fans and things like that to talk about transfers. In particular, I think that's a hot topic. But guys, stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to catching you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.